right, let's give the other stream here just a second to get caught up. Should be live here, just coming on now. And we got about 6 minutes until the close, so we'll see what the closing price for the Qs, SPY, and IWM ends up looking like. But let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, this is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for October 26th, 2021. All right, SPY. Gonna close here pretty close to today's low, but still up because of today's gap. Okay, up about 0.2 right now. Qs up about 1/3%. And IWM actually down 2/3%. Okay, coming into today, bullish on all three. We have hourly uptrends on the Qs and the SPY. All right, IWM, however, is going to be failing on this hourly uptrend earlier than the others. Okay, so we had a little bit of a pullback to the 20 MA. I think it triggered just by a little bit. And you can see if we take out today's low, which I believe we are right at it, and we will likely take it out. If we don't take it out today, maybe tomorrow morning, neutral on the IWM. Now, Qs and SPY, I'm still going to be bullish on going into tomorrow, but underneath today's low will be neutral because they've already triggered the buy setup, right? So this should be a higher low, and then that should lead to a higher high if we're going to maintain the uptrend, okay? And that's for the Qs and the SPY. They look very similar. Here's the SPY uptrend, okay? So underneath today's low, no longer bullish on the Qs and SPY, neutral though, because we are in an uptrend still. Now, could this be a temporary top because of the doji bar and because of the extension and all of that? You could. So kind of the aggressive start of that bearish bias could be underneath today's low, okay? And expecting that the hourly is going to turn into a downtrend and eventually bring the daily down with it. So not just picking on this day just because it's a narrow range day or because it's thin, because, if we were to be just trying to pick the top like that, well, we were extended there and we put it in a narrow range day. We were extended there and put in a narrow range day. We were extended there and put in a doji bar. So, we are in a larger time frame uptrend. So when we are in this kind of uptrend, you're often, if you're just kind of guessing as far as the top and new highs, you're going to be wrong more often than you're right. Okay, so what we do instead is we watch the smaller time frame. If the hourly goes into a downtrend, right, that's going to have to happen first before the daily goes into a downtrend, right? And so underneath today's low, going into tomorrow, underneath today's low will be where we are no longer bullish on the market. We'll switch to neutral. If the hourly gets us going on a nice downtrend, then we will switch to a more bearish bias. All right, so that's the plan for tomorrow. Let's go over today's plays. I had a call on the LAC. LAC, I like the bullish daily, not much of a gap, but it was clearing this resistance here. And I was aiming for somewhere in the proximity of the all-time highs, bullish LAC there. I liked what it was doing in the morning here, primarily this 1 minute base breakout. We entered as it took all of that out and liked the shakeout there, liked the confirmation of resistance there. So we broke out. We were looking okay. We even made more new highs here. This didn't shake us out. We were still in it. But then I think when the market came in, kind of lost some of that strength. So it was looking fine. It did end up being a little bit sloppier than I thought. So you can see when I'm looking to design the play here, the bars were kind of nice and tight and getting tighter. And I thought, okay, we're compressing for the next move. But some of that sloppiness, some of those shakeouts that I liked, it ended up just being that's the way this thing trades. It wasn't anything as exceptional as I was thinking or hoping it would be. So LAC, we did raise the stop. We did trail it. So we lost a little more than half an hour on this LAC. Okay. This one, ended up not following through. We didn't take a stop on it, which is good. A little bit of an arbitrary trail, just ended up being sloppier than I thought. you know. So I mean, I won't be surprised if this goes higher in days to come, but it's also not really set up as a swing either. So that's fine. I'm fine with that play. I liked it. Yeah, I don't have any problems. Just kind of sloppy, but sometimes, you know, you don't really know. And then the Xerox was a nice play from Sammy. Nice gap down here on the Xerox, very bearish. Okay, gapping underneath that base there, really, really nice looking. And as the 2 minute and the 5 minute, you can see here's the 2 minute, we're starting to break underneath, and the 5 minute, the 20 MA that is, and the 5 minute right to that 20 MA starts to roll over. That's where the entry was, and pretty good follow through on that. I think it gave like 3 R's or something on this. So that was pretty nice. Actually, now that I'm looking this on the 5, very similar to that. The only thing I gave you numbers for was this afternoon, and that is the closing bell, was the TPB. See that? Very similar kind of play. And then the other play you might have played with me over lunch was the Dan. Now the Dan gave me a little bit of hard time on the initial play because I played it and ended up killing it just too early. I didn't like the way it was moving, so I played this initial base break here. And so the stop was up there. And it was looking fine, and the market was coming in, and then this started to get this big pop here. I ended up killing it at 50, and it went like another 10 cents and then rolled back over. And it was tough because I knew what I was waiting for. I wanted just, you know, one pivot here on the 1 minute, just one red bar, one previous bar's low, and it just seemed like it wasn't going to give it to me, and it was going to kind of take off. So then I killed it, and then it gave it to me, and from there went all the way back down. So that was tough because I started off with a partial loss on this, and then gave you the numbers here to play the Dan breakdown here, which was this tight base breakdown. See, nice tight bars, basing at the whole number. Now, here's the thing, and I see this happen a lot with some of the really obvious breakdowns. It's not that the breakdowns don't work, is that the way that they bottom is often the same. And it's a really clear warning sign. So when they see how the volume kicks in here, so when something like that happens, people are kind of either cramming in as far as getting the entry, or they're exiting, but everybody's doing it at once. And if everybody's doing it at once, there's not as many traders or trades that need to be done, action need to be taken to get follow through. And a lot of times that's the bottom. So, you know, as soon as that broke down, I said, okay, volume increase. Be careful, right? Because we're probably going to need to trail this basically immediately. Okay, ended up being over the 2 minute bar for me. Here's what it looked like. I thought that made the most sense because 2 bar, you got an inside bar, and then some over that right there. So not too bad. Ended up like an hour and a half on this, and so more than made up for the initial Dan play that I got shaken out of. The shakeouts lately have been really tough. That's why we've been kind of going over how to enter plays so that you're not just guessing or, you know, having a really bad day because you keep entering into something that's not working. You know, how to know when it is a shakeout. And that's pretty typical of a shakeout. As soon as it gets you out, it goes right back in. So you can either get back in, put the stop at the end of the shakeout, or wait for the next play. Okay, wait for the next entry. It just so happened to on this shakeout, I was on the mic. So I think I was a little bit less patient because, you know, I want to get to scanning. I want to get to answering questions. And then also as soon as I knew I probably got shaken out, you know, and doing other stuff, I didn't think to get right back in. So I'm glad it gave another entry because sometimes they don't. Glad it gave another entry and able to kind of get that, turn out okay on the Dan. Okay, so some nice plays today. There are other ones that I didn't play, the PERI, the TPB that we looked at. So there's a lot going on out there. It is earnings season. It sure feels like earnings season with the amount of things moving. And like I referenced yesterday, and the one that I meant to bring up yesterday was the mark, how the mark had just been kind of going crazy here. And we're seeing kind of a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to keep up with. It's not easy. REDU today was a nice mention. I wasn't able to catch that, but that was a room member found. Was able to catch the Cody. Cody went on a tear this morning. on this run up. Was able to catch this one for a little bit. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to look at, a lot of things going on. So, yeah, hopefully having a good time trading, but also, uh, staying relatively relaxed and ready because I think, especially today, I felt it a lot. Just, felt like I was juggling and then also trying to moderate and be on the mic was almost kind of overwhelming to keep up with things. I wasn't able to really get all the scanning that I wanted to do early enough. So I'm sure there's things out there in the morning that I would have played that I missed out on. So expect that to be the case. So you just kind of have to, get used to that pace because I think that's what it'll be for the next couple weeks. Okay. So hopefully you're doing all right. Hopefully you're managing well. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.